So it's just come out that Canada and Canadians, who I have said time and time again, are the biggest suckers on the planet, and this following video will just prove my point, are paying more on taxes than any other expense out there, including housing. So we pay more of our hard-earned money to the government than we do on our personal needs. Now, that's not even the worst part. What is really troubling is that billions and billions of our dollars are going to fix other countries' problems. Like the first thing that Trudeau did when he was elected and inaugurated as Prime Minister was give billions of dollars to Indonesia to help them fix their infrastructure. I have said this time and time again. Then there was billions of dollars to go into a UN-controlled fund that would go to third world countries to help them fight climate change. And if you think that these third world countries are going to use that money to help fight global warming, you are an idiot. Then there's billions of dollars to go into a UN-controlled fund to help promote feminism. And this is billions of dollars we're giving out. Then there was, of course, the $10 million to Omar Khadr. Then there was millions of dollars to help rebuild Syria and Iraq's infrastructure. And not to mention the refugees who get free laptops paid for by the government, our tax dollars, free college education, free dental care, and free housing. Not to mention the free shelters that we pay for out of our military budget. And yet, this Mac Daddy, the long-haired, long-legged Mac Daddy, Montreal Slim Pimp Justin Trudeau, cancels the fund that was used to help clean up Lake Simcoe. So Lake Simcoe is not of importance to this government. We have Native Americans, Aboriginals, First Nations, whatever the hell you want to call them, who have to, in many reserves, live with poisonous water because, quote, there's no money to fix it at this time, or we only give little pittances of money to help fix the problem, when this problem could be fixed within 2 seconds. I'm yet to hear of an inquiry to help find out the problem of murdered and missing Indigenous people, even though he did promise to do that. And I don't know, maybe it happened. I don't know. I haven't heard about it. I try not to watch Canadian media because it's all biased anyway. But if it did happen, that's good. But if it didn't happen, well, then we are even bigger chumps than I thought, especially the First Nations people of this country, because many of them support this Prime Minister, even though I haven't seen the latest polls, and I don't even think there are polls out there, because maybe they don't support them, and the establishment, the so-called establishment, doesn't want people to see how angry people are with this long-haired, long-legged Mac Daddy who is destroying our country. So we pay the most in taxes out of all of our expenses, and yet we're not even using that those tax dollars to help our country. We're using it for other countries, for illegal aliens, and for refugees. And Trudeau really doesn't give a crap about the illegals coming into the country, because as I've mentioned before, these people who come here, they are a voting bloc, and mark my words, Trudeau is going to make sure these people vote in the next election. He is going to bribe them to a T, and they will undoubtedly go liberal. And if that happens, this country is 100% finished. It's probably already finished to begin with. And it's sad because nobody gives a crap. There's been evidence now that the 2015 election was actually rigged. You don't hear anybody. This would not be tolerated in any other country. But because Canadians are such chumps, and I hate to say it, I'm a Canadian too, but and not all Canadians, most of my viewers know what's going on, but the vast majority of them, I don't know why Trudeau's still up there in the polls, because of chumps. It's just, we're just chumps. We think we're nice. We're not nice. We're chumps. We're not doing the right thing. We are actually chumps. We are suckers. We are suckers. We have been pimped out. Pimped out. So that's the sad reality of it. And then we have Now, what's bad enough is that these people who come here as illegals, I mean, forget the refugees, but the illegals, I mean, it's bad enough that they're here as illegals, but many of them, and studies show, many of them aren't even working. First of all, many of them don't have the qualities to work, but they don't even do little jobs like, okay, if many of these illegals were to come, and I wouldn't like this because I prefer our people, just like I don't like how we have this foreign worker program with people who come here and do work that Canadians don't want to do, even though you see like many of these areas where you have all these Canadians on welfare, and then these foreign people from the Caribbean are picking grapes and stuff, and this guy gets welfare, and he's perfectly capable of picking the same grapes. No, and if he wants to get the welfare, he should go get up off his ass and pick those grapes. But these illegals aren't even contributing to Canada. And many of them are actually complaining about Canada. Many of them in Montreal are complaining about the houses, even though their ass isn't supposed to be in this country in the first place. But they don't even do little odd jobs like these foreign workers, like, pick the grapes, pick the cotton, clean the toilets, mow some lawn or something like that. And many of these guys are strong. Many of these illegals are strong men. It's not even women, it's men, single men with who are just full of energy. They can cross over and they just wasting away. So we have to make sure that they're on welfare. And yet, if a Canadian were to do something like that, it would be tough. I mean, I have an uncle who has worked his entire life in Canada, up when he's able to work, up until the age you can work until now. All he's done is work. He's not even eligible for retirement, any form of retirement pension, which is pretty sad, because then you get some person who comes here from across some fence and immediately gets welfare and baby bonus and all sorts of stuff and isn't contributing anything. First of all, probably, can't even speak the language, but isn't even looking for a job. These refugees, look at the stadiums in Montreal, filled up with refugees, all of them, and we're paying for it. So we are we pay the most in taxes, and it's not even going to help us. In Canada, we always brag about free healthcare. We still have to pay for prescriptions unless you're a senior. You have to pay for certain surgeries. You have to pay for a wheelchair if you're disabled. You have to pay for dentists. You have to pay for eyeglasses. Refugees don't have to pay for dental care. They get it free. Canadians don't get it free. So this is what we're doing. This is why I say we Canadians are such chumps. Now, there's nothing wrong with being nice, but when does it stop? We pay most of our money in taxes, and it doesn't even come back to us, only a little bit. Look at BC, British Columbia. The long-haired, long-legged Mac Daddy says he's not gonna match Red Cross funding to help BC. He'll just give what's there, what's the bare necessities. So BC gets the bare necessities, and the refugees and the illegals get all sorts of goodies. You know what this is. He is going to make sure that these guys get to vote in the next election so that he wins. He is going to make sure, you mark my words, you want to pretend like it doesn't exist, that's fine. But he is going to make sure that all these illegals and refugees take away this country. Now, you as a Canadian watching this right now can either sit on your ass and just let this go in one ear and go out the other, but your sorry ass is going to have your country taken from you. Trudeau going to make sure his army takes this damn country from you. And you were once on the top, and Canada used to have a very good economy. It's all gone. It's all gone. 110% done. That's the end of Canada. Look, you're even seeing people trying to take down Sir John A. Macdonald's statue. Canada is finished. And if he wins in 2019, It's done. It's over. There's no more Canada. Forget about Maple Leaf. Forget about hockey. Forget about the provinces. Forget about O Canada. Forget it. It's done. It's over. The country will be refugees and illegals. That's it. The white man, the native, the people who come here legally, who follow law, forget it. You're done. It's over. Even the Quebecers, who, you know, even used to be on top, the Quebec, it's done. It's finished. It's over.